There are many strange divisions in the SCP Foundation. The Alchemists, the Surrealistics, the Department of Miscommunications, the Anti-Memetics Division, but none are quite as mysterious as the Department of Abnormalities. So you've come here because you want to know more about what could very well be the most mysterious part of the SCP Foundation. You want to know who the DOA are, what they do, how they play into things? Well, I don't fucking know. But by reading through the articles they feature in, we can get a vague idea of their role in the SCP universe. Let's get down to it. The DOA first appeared in DJ Cactus's SCP-3790, titled, appropriately enough, Department of Abnormalities. So the SCP is a structure located underneath an abandoned warehouse in London, the door to which reads SCP Department of Abnormalities. So there's no record of the Foundation ever having such a department, and inside the structure are 7 floors, 6 of which are accessible and contain what we can only assume to be anomalies handled by this department. The 7th, though, is inaccessible, and for some reason there's been no effort made to get inside the 7th floor. I won't go that in-depth into the anomalies being contained in the facility. I'd much prefer you to read the actual article, and also there are way too many for me to tell you about all of them. But a few of them tie into parts of the universe that we already know about, such as Dr. Wondertainment's Little Mister series, The House of Apollyon, and Adam LSM. Videos on these at a later date. So, what we know so far is that there is, or was, an entity called the Department of Abnormalities, which contains or contained anomalies much like the real Foundation. But for some reason, we don't know of their existence, and the higher-ups don't want it looked into quite clearly. Let's look a little closer at 2 other SCPs associated with the DOA, so we can get a better idea of what the whole deal is. So SCP-3220, Panopticon 2, written by a random day, is again an underground space beneath a warehouse, this time in Hashina Island, Japan, and again the entrance reads Department of Abnormalities. So inside the space is a massive Panopticon, which is a building designed in such a way that all the people inside the building can be observed by a single guard, but those people inside can't see the guard or even tell if they're being watched at any given time. The Panopticon has 200 floors, and each of these floors has cells recessed into the walls. And each of these cells contain concrete statues, and each is equipped with a drainage grate. Sound familiar? It should, because these are heavily implied to be additional instances of a certain SCP we all know and love. In the viewing room, where the guard would usually be stationed, is just a single human skeleton with a broken neck. We can't escape Peanut Boys. So again here, the way the Foundation investigates the anomaly is very interesting. Or rather, the way they don't. The containment procedures consist solely of filling in the shaft leading to the Panopticon with concrete. Again, it's pretty obvious that someone doesn't really want this looked into. So another aspect of the Department of Abnormalities becomes obvious here. They often interact or play off of existing well-known SCPs, usually from a weird side angle. Here we get what's sort of an origin story for SCP-173, but not really, because all we know is that 173 was once contained here before being moved to Site-19 in 1993, and that it isn't necessarily unique. Now, the last DOA article we're looking at here, and these aren't the only ones, check out 3790 on the wiki for a full collection, is SCP-5832, titled Stained, and written by Absent-Minded Nihilist. So, SCP-5832 continues the trend of barely their containment were, with just a single guard being assigned to it. And the anomaly itself is a 2-room apartment within which people are completely unable to vocalize, can't say shit, and there are a few items found within the first room of the apartment, which is a child's bedroom. These are crayons in a Disney Princess colouring book, with all images of the prince from Beauty and the Beast scratched out in red, a plush black Labrador Retriever, the fur has been crusted over with a thankfully unidentified substance, Nintendo DS and a copy of Animal Crossing Wild World, in which all the dialogue's been left blank, and a charm bracelet with a charm resembling a birthday cake lit with 7 candles. So the second room in the apartment is a bathroom. Water samples from the toilet reveal the presence of amniotic fluid, which refuses to go away no matter how much it's flushed. The plastic cup on the counter contains traces of a mixture of apple juice and mifepristone. And mifepristone is an abortion drug, so I'll let you draw your own conclusions there. So SCP-3220 related to SCP-173, and SCP-5832 relates to the infamous SCP-231 where the whole Scarlet King mythos got started. So in 231, a horrific procedure has been performed on a young girl, SCP-231-7, to prevent her giving birth to something bad. I won't go further into that because it's all sort of really uncomfortable. Is this apartment literally a place where 231-7 was kept? Probably not. Thematically, though, does this pertain directly to 231-7 and the lack of a narrative voice of our own? Definitely, probably. In the author post, at least, Nihilist says, 231 is a blustery and dramatic piece about the world's worst act being perpetrated for the safety of all. The girl is a narrative object meant to stoke our fears about this horrible thing being done. She's not a person because if the Foundation recognised her as a person, they couldn't possibly continue. The DOA, in my mind, is a larval, base shadow archetype of the Foundation. Ergo, this article is an inversion of the original. The DOA will not let you forget that this is a little girl. She is suffering the worst kind of abuse in a tiny world that consists of 2 rooms and a hallway. This does not erase her inherent status as a little girl. The base shadow archetype of the Foundation is a fantastic way to describe the Department of Abnormalities. To me, it's like a twisted, minimalist prequel to Series 1, trying to recreate that unsettling feeling the first readers must have felt when they read 173, long before we discovered that Peanut was funny. There was something here, and it's not anymore, but there are traces showing us that these things happened, even though the higher-ups of the Foundation don't want them to. So what exactly is the Department of Abnormalities? Where did they come from? Who worked there? What was their mission statement? What happened to them? I don't really want to know. For me, the DOA work because we don't know. There's the barest implication of stories, working only through implication and suggestion, like we're looking at the corpses of things long since dead. These days, we understand the Foundation very well. The ins and outs, the departments, the personnel, the politics, the whole world they live in. But the Department of Abnormalities is like a shadow in the corner of your eye. The second you try and turn and get a better look, it's gone.